Cal, BHP UK, and just as we've released the Decat system for the Streetfighter V4, just like to bring you a quick instructional video on how to fit that system to this bike. So the first thing that you've got to do is you've got to remove the standard catalytic converter from the underside of the bike. To make it a little bit easier to look at, here's one I removed earlier. It really is just fixed in with 2 bolts that you will need a 6mm hex key for, and 4 springs, 2 at the front and 2 on the rear downpipes. You'll need a spring pulling tool of some nature, or you can use long nose pliers, and then there's just a positioning lug there. Now, the secret of getting this system out efficiently and quickly is some penetrating oil. That really is the secret to it. I've seen people beating these systems forever, trying to drop this rear downpipe coupling, and once you've sprayed lube on the rear downpipe coupler, you can just get a dowel or a stick just onto there and push down on it fairly hard. You will need to push down on it fairly hard, and you will be able to remove the coupling. Don't be tempted to pry it out with a pry bar. You're only going to end up damaging the catalytic converter. You may need to use one of these to give it a little bit of persuasion, but genuinely, if you're beating it to death and it's not moving, you haven't put enough lubricant on the joints. Once you've got that split, I tend to then remove the cables from the exhaust valve servo. To get to the exhaust valve, you'll need to remove the lower fairing. Use just a couple of M6 screws, 2 holding the front panel in place, 1 at the back, 1 at the front that we've just undone. There's 3 holding this panel in place. There's 1 there, and 1 just tucked up under here. You can just turn the servo and release the cables like that. You can leave the servo in place, or you can remove it and unplug it. We will write it out of the program anyway. On the left side of the bike, you will have to remove this bolt here that holds the chain guard in place. After you've done that, it just is a case of twisting and wriggling out backwards the catalytic converter. I'm just going to put some penetrating oil on that joint. That will help you split it without having to beat it to death. And then you can just wriggle the whole assembly backwards and it drops out for you. And there's the offending item. Don't forget to keep hold of the spacers that come out should you ever want to put this thing back in. We generally ship the system with this V-band already attached. All you need to do is slacken that nut off there, flick the holder back, and then just open it enough just to drop it down. Don't start spreading it too much, otherwise you'll end up damaging the clip. And that's it. There's just 3 parts to this system. The insert for the rear downpipe, the V-band connector. If you look at them carefully, they're machined very, very well. And when they connect with very little tolerance. So all we need to do is slot the front end of the system onto the front downpipes. And then we'll need to use the springs to attach that. There's 2 springs again that go on there. But before we do that, we just run around the other side again. You'll then need to slide the rear downpipe connector to that, lift the system up and align the 2 machined parts so they fit absolutely perfectly like that. Slip the V-band back over. You'll then need to put the M8 button head screw into that, and then you'll need to tighten the V-band up. And finally, before we put the end can on, we just need to align the V-band with the spring attachments. Just make sure they're in a straight line, and then just tighten that up. Once you've nipped that up, reconnect the springs, one at the back and one at the front. Reattaching the front springs are slightly trickier proposition, but it's not so bad really. Just some long nose pliers will do that for you. This system is designed to run with a baffle in place, so you just slide the baffle in at this point here. It is a really snug fit, so just work it in. A little bit of lube always helps. Just wiggle that down and it will get into place. You can sometimes persuade it in with a rubber mallet. Don't use anything heavier than that. Lastly, we fit the end can. Now, when you're fitting this end can, when you put the band on it, just make sure that you're not crossing the end of the slots, otherwise it will not actually tighten down. And you do need to tighten it down pretty well, because that is the only thing that holds your end can in place. Slide that on, make sure it is aligned straight at the back. And tighten that down. Clear your tools out of the way, and there you have the finished item. Of course, we've just got to put the fairings back on the front. And then we're ready to make some noise. Well, that's that fit. Really hope you're enjoying what we're bringing to the channel. Please do hit the like, subscribe and the bell icon. It really does help us out. And of course, this exhaust system is now available. You will find a link to buying it in the description below.